A recent video that I made about Fresh and Fit discussing several controversies they've been involved in was copyright claimed a few nights ago, meaning that I can no longer make money off of this video. And additionally, my experience has been in the past that when a video gets copyright claimed and someone takes all the money from the video, YouTube also stops pushing it in the algorithm, so that's great, you know, 2-for-1 combo. Now, I'm not going to directly accuse Myron or Fresh and Fit of doing this because I don't think either one of them saw my video and decided to actually manually claim the video. I believe they have a system or like a robot that scans all of YouTube for any video that shows their clips and automatically claims it if they can, which is like the most lame thing you can do as a creator, by the way. I mean, you are literally screwing over so many people fraudulently. My video was 100% fair use and commentary. I just reacted to some of their clips and gave my thoughts on it, which is completely allowed under YouTube's fair use guidelines. And they must know this too because they've done several streams where they'll react to other people's content and give their thoughts on it, like Abba and Preach. They will literally play their content on stream and pause it to give their thoughts and respond to things they've said. Now, it is frustrating to get a video copyright claimed because, like I said, besides the money, it does mean the video is going to be suppressed in the algorithm, and yeah, the video is a bit older now, so would it really be getting that many views? Am I missing out on that much? Probably not, but I think in principle, just having a robot copyright claim content that it detects to have used some of Fresh and Fit's footage is so shitty. And I think it's even more shitty because specifically Myron Gaines is very passionate about free speech. He's almost like a free speech absolutist. He has some very controversial guests on his podcast. He has to sometimes stream on Rumble because YouTube will not allow him to say certain things. And honestly, I respect that as an initiative. I think free speech is important, but I find it very hypocritical for those same people to then go and copyright claim, basically using fear-mongering and intimidation tactics against those who criticize them. They also give these monologues on the show about how they're unable to monetize on YouTube and they've been removed from the partner program, so their entire show is fan-funded, and you viewers are encouraged to donate if they appreciate the stream and enjoy the content, which is fine. I mean, most live streams are profitable because of like the donation revenue, but I think it's so insane for them to complain about not being monetized and they're kicked from the partner program, but then also abuse the copyright system to claim people and take their money. So they're gonna be like mad that YouTube is not giving them the money they think they deserve for producing content on the website, but also literally screw other people over. Like, bro, how do you think I feel? How do you think I feel? I made a completely fair use video and then it just got claimed because the content ID system is broken. I can't sympathize with them being censored by YouTube when they literally do this to other creators.
The channel has been kicked off the YouTube partner program. Just keep it straight with
If you look right now, you can't even super chat or
you can't even super chat right now.
So I go on Twitter and I say, wow, looks like the clowns over at Fresh and Fit have placed a fraudulent copyright claim on my completely fair use and transformative commentary video. At UnplugFitX, which is Myron, claims to be a proponent of free speech but attempts to silence critics by abusing the copyright system. Now, most of the time when you get a copyright claim that you know is BS, you can just submit a dispute through YouTube and then YouTube holds the money until either they decide to release the claim and give you the money, or they can like take you to court over it. Most of the time they'll just release the claim because it's not worth the headache, but if they are for some reason super insistent on like keeping it, then they will say, hey, if you want the money, then we're gonna have to go to court for it. Well, one of the most frustrating parts about submitting a copyright dispute through YouTube is that in order to submit it, you literally have to dox yourself to the person who submitted the claim in the first place. YouTube asks you, are you sure that your content falls under fair use guidelines, and then makes you sign it with your legal name. And if they reject your dispute, then the second time you want to respond to them basically saying, hey, I'm willing to go to court over this, you have to give them your legal name, address, and I think some other stuff. So it's like, dude, they can basically farm docs info on you, even if they know the claim is fake. And since they still haven't released the claim, I decided to do another tweet, and I said, Myron Gaines has yet to remove the fraudulent copyright claim on my fair use commentary video. I have submitted a dispute, but the issue is unresolved. F&F complain about being silenced, but use shady tactics to discourage and silence legitimate criticism of them. Like, I'm so sick of people acting like they are the side against deplatforming because they oppose people like Hassan and platforms like Twitch with really strict terms of service that do kind of discourage legitimate free speech. And this side that is apparently the bastion, the alternative to that cancer, are doing the same things. They're copyright claiming people. They're sending DMCA strikes, which in case you didn't know, that's what they tried to do to Abba and Preach, I think, 2 years ago. So this is not the alternative to deplatforming, okay? It's just a different flavor of the same ice cream, I guess.
For a lot of people who are super chatting, they're asking vaguely about something that you guys are accused of doing that I don't know anything about. and they're super chatting as if I would know what it is, but I can ask you just this simple one. Adam Griffin says, "Can you ask why these clowns tried to take down Abba and Preach with fake DMCA strikes?"
What?
You want to go into it? So basically, we have a lot of people that talk about us on the internet, and some of it is slander, some of it is defamation, and using our content in their videos. And we're like, okay, cool. We've waited out for a while for you to stop. You're still doing it. So, you know what? Cool. Now we're going to take legal action against you because obviously you're attacking our character and our integrity. So at that point, hey, it's all fair game.
How do you even respond to an argument that is that bad? I mean, he literally is saying, yeah, copyright abuse is justified if you are making claims about us that attack our character. They do that on a regular basis on their podcast, okay? They frequently will talk about people that they don't like in a negative way, and they will use clips to prove those points. That is the basis of commentary. You make a claim about somebody, and then you use clips of them that, you know, reinforce your claim. Now, I would show a clip of Myron doing that, but I can't because they claimed my last video and I want this one to be good. The last clip I just played you is from Timcast, so I think I'm fine.
So what, they just get it reversed or what?
Yeah, it's a long story, but basically,
Simply put, the challenge is when it comes to public figures and defamation cases, it's really hard to win.
it is.
Yeah.
Which is why you didn't take this shit to court, because your stupid ass would have lost a lawsuit and had to pay us money for the court fees. That's why you didn't do defamation, and that's why you did DMCA strikes, right? That's why you did that. Because you didn't want to actually pay your lawyer all that money that you made.
Now, I'm saying all these things about copyright abuse and claiming because he's trying to silence people who criticize him. Now, that in itself is a criticism, but there is an entire grocery list of things that you can criticize Fresh and Fit for. I want to start off with something I've never talked about, which is a DM I got recently, which exposes a crypto scammer that Fresh and Fit had on the podcast and did an entire stream with. I got this DM from Alex Silverstein that says, "This crypto scammer I knew about from a while ago went on Fresh and Fit. I thought that was super sketchy. The title mentions creating his crypto Ponzi scheme. Plus, all he does is shill it the whole stream." This was August 15th, 2022. Richard Hart is getting charged by SEC for misappropriating millions from that project. This is on sec.gov. I have not heard a peep from Fresh and Fit about this. They would at least owe their fans an apology. Obviously can't prove it, but he likely paid them to go on and chill. Hart rug pulled the project, deleted every mention from his socials, and fled the country. A comment left on that video says, "Man, Richard Hart scammed everyone, and everyone he mentioned that brought up BTC top is actually at new highs today, while Hex and his scams are all down 99%. Sad. He stole everyone's money. An update with him on his channel is needed. Oh wait, he's running from the SEC." So that's one thing. Fresh and Fit do not background check the people that they have on their show, it seems like, and that's not the first time. They've also had people on the show. Well, specifically one guy I want to talk about named Charleston White, who is literally and has admitted on camera to women. Now, you can find clips of him admitting that pretty easily, but on the Fresh and Fit podcast, he literally talks about how he used to, like, just do shit with girls without their consent, and Myron and Walter are just, like, laughing about it, and they're like, "Oh, we might have to end stream, and we might have to go on to Rumble." Hardy har har. Wow, guys, that's, good stuff.
We forcibly used to white girls. We used to put crack in their cigarettes.
Whoa! I told you. Shit. I told you.
We used to do it without permission. So it's not like she came over and said, "Hey, I want to sleep with all you guys."
Yeah.
We said, "Hey, man, that white girl like you. Get over here." And then we put
shit.
And then we put shit.
Oh my God. And you realize, Fresh and Fit were like, "Oh, wait. He already said it. I guess we're not going to stop him." Oh, because even they realize this is a fucking weird thing to say.
Yeah. We just come in with dicks out.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah,
We might have to go on Twitch.
Yeah.
Okay, Twitch.
Yeah,
A dude literally just got on camera and pretty much admitted she didn't want it. We just showed up with dicks out and things happen.
It's not like this is the sort of thing where it's an ideology difference and a certain thing you might think politically is unacceptable to say on YouTube. We're not talking about the vaccine or the election or something.
Will you shut up, man?
On issues like that, I think you should be able to say, you know, whatever you want, even if it's like stupid or wrong or whatever. These guys parade around scammers, R-worders, just the worst kinds of people you can possibly imagine. And they're gonna go on Timcast and complain about people attacking their character, but it's like, dude, you literally have these people on your show, you put them in the thumbnail, you give them attention, you give them publicity. Yeah, that's like something that you can easily be criticized for. And they're so bad, they're just the worst that I don't even feel comfortable giving them any sort of praise to things they may do or say that are good, right? Like they recently, Myron was on this Jubilee thing about fat people and body positivity. And with issues like that, obviously I would have the take against the people who are fat positive and stuff like that. And Myron holds that position. But it's like, I can't even applaud this guy because he's such a POS.
Fat people bring a big burden. Equal, and it's all equality for everyone. No, that's not how the world works. Why the fuck should I be treated equally to someone who's fat, broke, not disciplined, and not as intelligent? It's a competition. To do that, you get depressed and you get sad, rightfully so, because you're a fuck up.
Have you experienced depression?
Well, I've had
Times where I've been sad and stuff, but I always get over it.
So you shouldn't speak on it then. 'Cause
And
that's
I
like
think
real
that's very
shit.
insensitive to people
Yeah,
who actually
people
have
deserve
mental
to be
health.
Depression most of the time is not real. No.
That's fucking wild.
No.
That's
Okay.
fucking wild.
It's
The
not.
earth is flat.
A lot of the times when people are depressed, it's because of their own inadequacies.
This is another great example of where I should be able to criticize Myron. You know, it's not just the guests he has on his shows, it's some of his worldviews I find kind of like ridiculous. I would not say most of the time when people are depressed or they're having struggles in their life that it's because of their own inadequacies, okay? If that's the case, then how do you explain some of the most successful people on the planet being very depressed? There are people who have committed you know what and who have been loved by millions of people. They've been famous, rich, in good shape. And on the flip side, there are people who are in horrible shape, who have horrible lives by really most metrics, who are really happy. Now, with those two things aside, I think there's a lot of reasons why people would be upset and depressed naturally by society. I think dating for men has become incredibly hard. There is obviously a male loneliness epidemic. That could be contributing to sadness and depression. I think also the average cost of a home is ridiculously expensive. And on that note, I think the economy is in such a horrible place to where people aren't feeling rewarded for their work. They're being able to purchase less with their money, experience less of life in general. Another thing that I saw that I thought was really insightful was this clip by Chris Williamson where he basically says for men who are like adults that making new connections, especially friends later in life, like, you know, when you're in your 30s or even late 20s, can become ridiculously challenging because there's this expectation that you would have had already sorted this out, like you've already should have had your friends by now.
Most men don't have friends, they have drinking partners. And most people aren't introverts, their friends just suck. Making friends as a guy in later life, as in anyone in later life, is super embarrassing. There's this sense that you should have already had friends. But do you not have friends? That's exactly the same as saying, why are you going to the gym? Are you not already fit? Lots of people presume that they're not a social person or whatever it might be. And it's not that at all. It's just that the friends that are around them don't fire them up all that much. You're not an introvert around people that you are fired up to talk to.
I think this clip hits the nail on the head, and then Myron is just like, oh, if you're depressed, it's because of your inadequacies. Bro, he's not totally wrong, but that's like 50% of it, you know? Like, if you're going to the gym and you're putting in work and you are consistent with that, and you are also making a lot of money, so you're consistent with that, it's not like everything else just kind of sorts itself out, you know? Like, there's some stuff that just life will throw at you, and things become hard. That has nothing to do with some sort of personal inadequacy, which could be dragging you down. Now, with that being said, I'm obviously not saying that if you're a lazy fuck and you're upset and you're unhappy with your life, that you have any room to complain. You really don't. You need to get up and do some work. You need to go to the gym. You need to actually put in time and effort into something that's going to yield physical results like money and max out your stats in those regard, okay? Once you're fully maxed out, then you can complain, because if at that point, you know, you're unhappy or unsatisfied, well, you've done everything you can and it's not quite doing it. So then, at that point, you can be upset. Unless, of course, something like really tragic happens to you. Like if you're overweight and you're sad, but then like your dad gets hit by a car, well, you know, excuse me. Yeah, you can be upset. Anyway, last thing I want to talk about in this video is a drama that Fresh and Fit podcasts are having with the Whatever podcast. Now, these two podcasts are similar in format to where they'll both get a bunch of women around the table and they'll talk about dating, relationships. What's your body count? Sorry, that's that sort of thing, right? Well, the Whatever podcast started after Fresh and Fit and did, I guess, not copy their formula, but use a similar formula as Fresh and Fit. And Myron and Walter have been upset by this and will not collaborate with Brian, the host of the Whatever podcast, and they've gone on to take shots against Brian and shit like that. But in my opinion, I would say that it's dumb to complain about someone doing a similar content style as you, because if anything, they're making that sort of content more popular. It's not like they're stealing viewers from you. They're just creating content in a similar way that you are. You know what I mean? It's like if I start rapping, does that mean that I'm stealing listeners from Drake? No. If anything, it could bring more people over to your podcast, because if no one was engaging with that format before Whatever was doing it, then maybe they would watch Whatever and then watch your podcast.
What I likely suspect is they view me as competition, ergo, they do not want to compete, or excuse me, they do not want to collaborate with a competitor. The same way that you might, for example, say, and shout out to Length or Gurf on Reddit for this one, Coca-Cola may not want to collaborate with Pepsi. I get it. Although what I would argue is that when it comes to the digital content creation space, it's not like a zero-sum game where if I have viewers, I'm taking away from their viewers. I don't really think that's how it works. I would compare it to like two musical artists, let's say two rap musicians. Rap musicians frequently collaborate, even though they're in the exact same genre. They're making the same type of music. Perhaps their lyrical structure is similar. The instrumentals they're in C major. There's all kinds of things where you can find a lot of commonality in music. There's this complaint that, that the podcast is a ripoff or a copy. My response to that would be, first off, nobody has an intellectual property right to a live dating podcast. So there's certainly no copyright infringement or intellectual property infringement. You cannot trademark an idea. In the same way that, for example, there's allowed to be more than one rapper. There's allowed to be more than one horror film.
Myron, buddy, you need to be worried about your own podcast, okay? The downfall of your podcast is not going to be because of like Whatever having a viewership increase, a good Q2. No, it's going to be because you get like another weird guest who actually has done some sort of crimes, whether in crypto, whether that would be with women. Bro, it's going to be something like that. Someone with a large enough audience, like Moist Critical, might make another video on you, and that's what you should be worried about, okay? Because at some point, people are going to wake up and realize that like, oh, yeah, these guys actually really suck. Okay, I actually thought Fresh and Fit, maybe cringe incoming. Bro, I didn't think they were that bad for a long time. I thought the hate was overhyped. But after more and more videos kept coming out and they kept digging themselves into a bigger hole, it was because of these videos that I was seeing that provided pretty good evidence to them being pieces of shit that I realized, yeah, they're not redeemable. I think people who are ideologically maybe similar to Fresh and Fit, whether that would be like with politics or on social issues, they might be not as inclined to hear out critics of Fresh and Fit because they might see it as driven because of that, like politically or socially. But when people who don't have like rainbow hair are saying, yeah, these guys suck and here's why, and they're providing a pretty good grocery list of all the dog shit that they've done, I think the more and more times that stuff like that happens, the harder it is for them to write off criticism as like, oh, these SJWs are trying to take us down. Like, no, dude, normal people like me are saying that like, you guys run a horrible podcast, you guys are horrible people, and everyone should stop watching and watch SpongeBob instead.
Guys, in 2020, SpongeBob might actually look like this in the animation.
I'm SpongeBob.